Now that we have some live video input set up on our system, let's take a look at some video switching. So here we are back in vMix, and I have set up some sources that we'll use for the rest of these course videos. So if I want to perform switching, I would just select the source I want by clicking on it. It appears in the preview window. I then have my options for different transition types I can choose from. I can click on the one I want, and that will bring it to the output window. And if I need to modify any of those settings, we can click on a drop-down, select other transition types, or set our duration inside the software. So let's take a look at video switching with transitions inside TriCaster. Now I have the same three sources set up, and in TriCaster we have a few different ways we can approach the switching workflow. Let's start with the most common way, which is to use the program preview rows seen on the middle of the interface. In this case, you'll just select the next source you want on the preview bus. That's the green row of buttons. So let's say we want to go to camera 1. I'll select 1, and you can see that appear in the preview monitor. And then to bring that to program, we can use a transition, and that is going to be whatever is selected in this area right here. It's right now a fade. If I don't want a fade, I can click the icon next to the name of the transition, and this little pop-out will appear, and these are all the different transitions I could choose from. So let's say I want a circle wipe, and then to perform that action, you'll hit the auto button right here, and you can see it now comes to program. And then we can go to our next source, and then select a different transition. Let's say we want this one, and there we go. Now there's lots of other transitions we can choose from. We can hit the plus sign in one of these slots, and you can see there are hundreds of transitions to choose from in the system. So you just pick the one you want. And then you can also adjust the speed of the transition in this palette. There are some preset buttons for slow, medium, and fast, or you can dial in a speed by dragging left and right on this number. Or if you double click, you can type in the exact number you want. Maybe I want a 45 frame transition in there. And you see there it goes. Now there are other ways we can perform switching beyond the program preview method. You could use the Express mode. If I click on the Express tab here, you'll see a single row of buttons. And in this case, whenever I click on one of these buttons, that will immediately transition with whatever I have selected in the palette over here to program. So if I click on 2, you can see it immediately goes. Go to 3. If I want a circle wipe, I can select that one. And if I want to change these transitions out, you just click the gear and access the same transition palette with speed controls. And cut and crossfade is also available at the top. One other way we can perform switching is in the multi-view itself. If you look under options, there is a selection called click viewports to show on program, which you can see is currently checked. And with that on, all I need to do is click on any of my multi-view windows, and it will immediately switch to that source. So if I click on input 2, you can see it goes to 2. And I'm on a cut, so it did a cut. Let's do a fade, and I'll go to input 3. You see it fades in. If I want a circle wipe, I'll select it and pick one, and it does a circle wipe. And if you don't want the multi-views to perform switching, you can turn this option off using the options menu just by selecting this selection, and you can see it is now unchecked.